So Michael Bridge, finally guests in the studio, got a bit of company. I can just sit back because thankfully you two are in the know and can tell us. It's been busy, hasn't it, Melissa? We're going to start with Sadio Mane. We're going to see him presented as a Bayern Munich player today, aren't we? What can we expect from that?
Well, we expect him to be unveiled imminently. Obviously a massive coup for Bayern. He was their priority target. They were quite confident in getting him. And I think the fact that they had established contact with these representatives so early and made it clear how much they wanted him, how they see him as part of the vision long term under Julian Nagelsmann, made it into a situation where there was no bidding war or no anxiety over landing him. So Liverpool actually probably didn't get as much money as they would have liked for Sadio. And that was because Bayern were in such a strong position, he only wanted to go to them. He was the first transformer of the Jurgen Klopp era, so core to all the success they achieved, now earns a new challenge and has left with the best wishes of Liverpool and the team. And I think actually a point to make is how well Liverpool have done in recruitment, that they have lost a Ballon d'Or candidate and one of the world's best players, but it hasn't felt detrimental.
Yeah, that is a very good point. But what about another departure? What can you tell us about Takumi Minamino as well here?
He is on the verge of going to Monaco, and we've just spoken about Liverpool's recruitment. One of their key facets has been selling well. They paid £7.25 million for Takumi Minamino when they recruited him from RB Salzburg, and they have now doubled that fee. Monaco paying around £15.5 million to land him. Minamino was not one of Liverpool's key players. However, he always contributed, and when you look at last season, scored 10 goals. A lot of those powered Liverpool's lifting off the League Cup and the FA Cup. So again, I think he joined at a time where we were just entering the pandemic. His settling in period was just made so horrible by the fact that he was alone in a new place during this phase that we were all so confused by. But I think at the end, Liverpool will look at it as a good deal. Lovely player who did contribute to the cause, and they've doubled the fee for him.
Yeah, that was very, very good business indeed, for sure. It's been a day of developments at Chelsea at boardroom level, hasn't it, Michael? We're going to have more on that in a moment, but let's just talk about one player right now, Romelu Lukaku. Where are we with this?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite unbelievable, the figures we're talking about ahead of his loan move back to Inter Milan, a club he loves. You know, did this all start with his interview he gave at the start of the season? He was only at Chelsea a couple of months when he gave this interview the club weren't really aware of. Clearly the club weren't happy with it, the fans weren't very happy with it, but they said, look, you've got to do your talking on the pitch. And the answer, he didn't really do his talking on the pitch. It's not been a good season for him. He's taken a third in already in the meat of all these negotiations with Thomas Tuchel. Burley and Tuchel have been talking, Burley and Lukaku have been talking, and Burley has been quite hands-on for someone who's only just bought the club to be doing this, loaning out a player for about £10 million, and in previous regime, £100 million coming in. Serious losses. And of course, it's going to be Tuchel and Burley at the moment, but Chelsea will look to bring in that sporting director because, of course, loads of movements in the Chelsea boardroom.
There are, because we have incredible, powerful women, of course, working in football, as we do at Chelsea behind the scenes as well, and in particular, Marina, don't we, Melissa?
She is going to be a stratospheric loss for the club. She was basically running Chelsea and has been, I think, under the radar, perhaps hasn't been given the headlines that she has deserved, because she transformed their transfer negotiations. And we're talking about Liverpool selling well. Actually, Liverpool have followed Chelsea's template in doing that, because they've turned outgoings into a profit. They're the Premier League's and actually around Europe, they are the standout performers in being able to sell well. She was respected by all the other clubs around Europe, seen as a very firm negotiator. She handled all contracts, very good relationship with Tuchel, the board in general, the players, just incredibly powerful, incredibly capable, and did so much at Chelsea. And now, as Michael was saying, Boehly's assumed all this responsibility. He's the chairman, he's the interim sporting director. And actually, that's, I think, too much responsibility for one person to assume, especially somebody who doesn't have a background in these negotiations, which are not easy. I think the Lukaku deal showed a little bit of a shift where they weren't interested in how much loss they were making. They just wanted to get the deal done swiftly in order to do all their incomings that they need to do, because I think they feel they're a little bit behind in the market at the moment. And they're a little bit behind because of all the restructuring happening behind the scenes.
And also, you know, the season starts a little bit earlier. Clubs are going away a little bit earlier this year. And of course, with the pandemic over, in a sense of we're now able to travel, Chelsea are going to go to Orlando. They're going to go to Vegas as well. Managers want as many players in as possible to go on these pre-season tours. They don't want to keep leaving it to the last minute. Some deals naturally will be last minute, but the fact is Chelsea need to bring in a top-class centre forward, and it's all being done now without a sporting director.
Goodness me. Yeah, for now, both of you, thank you very much indeed. It's set to be, I'm guessing, a very busy day. We'll have Mane, of course, unveiled a little bit later today as well at Bayern Munich. What we also know is England goalkeeper Nick Pope is going to be having a medical at Newcastle tomorrow ahead of a